So if sitting on the floor is not comfortable for you, if it hurts your knees or your hips or your lower back or anything, then raise your hips up a little. You can sit on a firm couch cushion, or you can fold up a towel or a blanket to sit on, or you can always sit on a chair too. That's always an option. So if sitting on the floor directly or your mat directly is not comfortable, lift your hips a little with something. All right, comfortable seat. Go ahead and sit up tall and close your eyes. And just start to deepen your breath. Without trying to change anything, just notice what's going on. Anything that might be bubbling up for you. And start to lengthen your spine. Rooting down into your sitting bones, rise up simultaneously through the crown of your head. Come back to your breath if your mind starts to wander. This is always a place that you can come back to in your yoga practice or in your life in your house right now. If you need a little bit of calm, start to lean back just a little bit so that your shoulders stack directly over your hips. Your ears are stacked directly over your shoulders. Your spine is in one long column. And now take your hands on your thigh bones back just a little bit towards your hips, and you'll notice the sides of your waist lengthen as you do that. Soften your shoulders away from your ears and breathe. Whenever your mind starts to wander, just tether yourself back to your breath. We're not trying to stop our minds from thinking. It's sort of I think it's a misconception of what meditation is. It's our mind's job to think. But maybe the function of meditation is to create more space between our thoughts. And you can do that by coming back to your breath every time you notice your mind starting to wander. We always start our practice like this. We end it in the same way. Fold your hands together at the center of your heart. And start to bring an intention for your practice to your mind, something or someone that you'd like to practice for, whether it's patience or compassion or balance or a specific person. Bring that idea to your mind and press it between your palms. Release your hands. Start to open your eyes, and come onto hands and knees on your mat, all fours. So you're stacking your knees under your hips, your hands under your shoulders. You can see Mandy in the background. We're very distanced right now. I'm looking to see, oh good, you can see me. Okay. All fours, fingers are spread wide. I like to curl my toes under on the mat. If you don't like that, then you don't have to do it. Your feet can be flat, it's up to you. On your inhale, you're gonna arch your back, stick your tailbone up toward the sky, look up. Exhale, contract, scoop your tailbone, look back towards your belly. Inhaling, arch and look up. Connect your movement with your breath. So it might not match mine. Mine might not match Mandy's or yours, but you're really tuning into your breath here. Full movement with full breath. Now soften your eyes as you move through these poses. Cat and cow. Put as much movement as you can through your spine. I had a request for some shoulder openers today. So I think we'll do some hips and some shoulders. I've got some fun stuff in mind. We're gonna do a little bit of everything though. So come to a neutral spine. And a neutral spine isn't a flat back. I've come up with a joke during this time. These are the only curves we don't want to flatten, right? Our lower back curve, it's there for a reason. So you don't want to overextend it, but you don't want to flatten it, right? No tucking of your tailbone. And you don't want to flatten your neck curve either. That's also there for a reason. So those are the only two curves we don't want to flatten right now. I'm very proud of that joke. So I hope that you laugh. Go ahead ahead and thread your right arm underneath your left. Your palm is up toward the sky, and you're gonna come onto your right shoulder. Come onto your right ear. And now walk your left fingertips back, kind of to where your ponytail might be, just toward, as back as you can. Your elbow lifts toward the sky. And then you're gonna use the back of your right hand and your left fingertips to open and stack your shoulders. Now draw your left hip back. It wants to pop forward. Don't let it pop forward. Keep it drawing back. And breathe. Getting some good twisting in here. Come back to all fours. We're gonna go the other direction. This is called threading the needle. Thread your left palm face up toward the sky underneath your right arm. Come onto your left ear. Bring your right fingertips behind your head. Open your elbows, stack your shoulders. Draw your right hip back. Breathe. Unwind, come back to all fours. From here, come back to your seat. We're gonna come into some variations of a pose called Janu Shirshasana. I've got my right foot in, my left leg extended out. Spread your toes on your left foot. So if your foot's floppy, your muscles are not gonna be engaged around your leg. If you flex your toes, your muscles start to engage around your bones. That's what you want. Let's start with this. Bring your left fingertips on the outside of your left leg, your right hand. And do I see Eleanor in there? Sorry, do I see Eleanor in there? Eleanor, okay, you're pregnant, right? Sorry, is the cat, did I just let the cat out of the bag? No, okay, sorry. Okay, so I'm also certified in prenatal yoga. So Eleanor, here's what I want you to do. You're not gonna do any closed twists. So everybody except for Eleanor do this, okay? Right hand to your outer left leg. And you're gonna twist over your left leg, start to fold forward. Your left fingertips are helping you twist, okay? Now, Eleanor, you're not gonna do this. You're not gonna do any closed twists like this. So you're gonna stay open like this, okay? You're gonna stack your shoulders open. So Eleanor, no closed twisting for you. I'll give you modifications as we do this, okay? All right, everybody else, lead with your heart rather than your head. Inhale, lift up. Now, Eleanor, you can do this too. I'm gonna scooch back to my mat. This is for all of us. Bring your left forearm, palm face up to the inside of your left leg. Press your arm and leg together to stack your shoulders. Inhale, reach right arm overhead. Fingertips over toes. If it's comfortable, shift your gaze up toward the sky. Eleanor, those cats and cows that we did at the beginning are really good for you, and I'm gonna show you some other stuff that you can do. Inhale, let your right arm guide you up, switch legs. You can lean back to switch. Remember, Eleanor, this is where you do the open twist. Everybody else, right fingertips to the outside of your right leg, left hand to your outer shin. Start to hinge forward over that extended leg, leading with your heart, not the crown of your head, okay? If you can reach, you can get your left hand to your outer foot. Breathe. Long spine. Inhale, come up. Everybody, right forearm to the inside of your right leg, palm facing up to open your rotator cuff. Inhale, left arm overhead. Remember, arm and leg are pressing together to stack your shoulders. Look up underneath your left arm if it's available. If that doesn't feel good, then don't do it. You can look straight ahead or at the floor. Breathe. Inhale, lift up. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Come to standing on your mat. Front of your mat. My mat's backwards. I have I'm really weird about my yoga mats. Okay, so standing at the front of your mat, everybody hands to heart. Very briefly come back to your intention, that idea that you set for yourself at the beginning. Press that idea between your palms. Release your hands, flip your palms forward to open your heart. Inhale, reach up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Eleanor, you're gonna step your feet a little bit wider than hip distance. Everybody else hip distance. Inhale, look up halfway, long spine from your hips to your eyelashes. Exhale, step or jump to a high plank position. High push-up. Exhale, lower. You can either come all the way down or chaturanga to elbow height. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Roll your shoulders back. Exhale, lift your hips, press back downward facing dog. Press your heart back towards your toes and breathe. We're gonna do 5 breaths here, so you know how long we're gonna be here, so just let your body relax a little bit. Stay engaged by kind of clawing the mat with your finger pads. You're gonna feel that muscle energy gather up your arms. Press your heart back towards your toes and start to melt your heels down towards your mat. They're not gonna touch, that's okay. It's just the action. Inhale, lift your right leg high. Down dog splits. Exhale, step it through to a lunge. Spin your back heel down to 45 degrees. Inhale, reach up, warrior one. Bend your front knee into a square here. Draw your outer right hip back. Exhale, touch your mat. We're gonna step back to plank. Inhale. Exhale, lower chaturanga or all the way down. I'm gonna show you all the way down this time. Inhale, this is cobra, upward dogs with your thighs off the ground. Exhale, lower, you can always come to your knees. Inhale, press up. Exhale, press back. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step it through. Spin your back heel to 45 degrees, reach up, warrior one. Arms are overhead, now soften your shoulders away from your ears. Soften your eyes, soften your jaw. And breathe. Draw your outer left hip crease back this time. Okay? Exhale, touch your mat. Move through a vinyasa of your choice. Now, Eleanor, you might come down to your knees and then just do your chest and then come here. Okay, if you can do that still. If not, you can always just go through a couple cat's cows before you come to downward dog. That's for Eleanor. Back to your downward dog, everybody. Inhale your right leg high, down dog split. Exhale, step it through. Keep your back foot as it is on your tippy toes. Reach up, crescent lunge. Don't let your back thigh drop. Don't let your knee bend. Don't let your heel press back. Back tippy toes. Back thigh presses up, now your front knee bends. Right, this is a yoga lunge, it's a little different. Exhale, bring your hands back into what we call airplane arms. Squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, back. Lean forward. Inhale, reach up, lift your heart. Again, exhale, back. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Inhale, reach up, lift your heart, lift your gaze. Now do your arms in a cactus, so you're bending at your elbows. Lift your heart, lift your gaze, little mini back bend here. Exhale, touch your mat, move through a vinyasa of your choice, and we will meet in downward dog. Find your breath. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, step it through. Crescent lunge. Press into your feet, reach up overhead. Back leg is strong and steady. Front leg gets to bend. Soften your shoulders away from your ears. Soften your jaw and your eyes. Exhale, reach back, airplane arms. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Again, exhale back, squeeze your shoulder blades. Inhale up, lift your heart, cactus your arms, lift your heart, send your ears back. Start to curl into your upper back. If this crunches your lower back, then back out of it. The bend comes into your upper back. Exhale, touch your mat, move through a vinyasa. Now, if you ever want to come to a child's pose and skip the vinyasa, that's fine. If you want to come straight to downward dog and skip the vinyasa, that's fine. Breathe. Again, press your heart back towards your toes. Now look forward. Bend your knees, hop or step to the top of your mat. Come into a forward fold. Good. Inhale, look up halfway, long spine from your hips to your eyelashes. And exhale, forward fold. Heel toe your feet together to touch. Sit down like you're in a chair, Utkatasana. Reach up overhead. Sit down. Bring the weight further into your heels. See if you can lift and spread all 10 toes. Exhale, airplane arms. Stay seated low. Inhale, reach up, soft gaze. Exhale, back. Inhale, up. One more. Exhale back, stay seated low. Inhale, reach up. Inhale, sorry, keep inhaling, stand straight up. Exhale, hands to heart, come back to your intention. Press that idea between your palms, giving it a little power here. So what I love about yoga is that we get a good workout on our mat. We work on a lot of skills on our mat, but they really apply off of our mat, right? So when things get tough and we're trying to keep it going right through these vinyasas, and after a while our muscles start to feel a little shaky and our breath starts to shorten a little bit, and we're always trying to come back to the moment, focus on the breath, right? And it's work, it's hard work. We can be doing that during the age of quarantine as well. Release your hands. Flip your palms forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Remember, Eleanor, your feet are wide here. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, step or jump back to chaturanga or all the way to the floor. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. This is where you might come to your knees, Eleanor. Roll your shoulders back, everybody. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Breathe. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step it through. Spin your back heel to the ground. Look to make sure the front heel lines up with the middle of your back arch. Cuts it in half. Warrior two, arms to a T. Now your front knee might want to fall in here. I'm kind of exaggerating. Don't let it do that. Keep your front knee pressing back over your second and third toes. Soften your shoulders away from your ears. Soften your gaze out over your right fingertips. Now clasp your hands at your lower back. Roll your shoulders back. Root your knuckles toward the ground. Inhale, lift your gaze, lift your heart. Exhale, fold to the inside of your front knee for devotional warrior. This overhead. Breathe. Soften something, right? I know everybody, including me, we're all holding on to something that we don't need to, so let it go here. Release your hands. Now flip your back heel toward the ceiling. Heel toe your front foot toward the right side of your mat, so you're widening your lunge here. I'm gonna give you a modification in just a second, but for the full expression of the pose, take your fingertips, or you can come onto your knuckle pads, bend your elbows side to side. You're gonna keep your hips as high as your front knee, so don't let your hips drop. Hips as high as front knee, widen your right knee out to the right, and root down through the big toe mound on your right foot so your ankle doesn't sickle, right? You don't want to let your ankle roll. The modification is to come to your back knee. Melt your heart down as your hip opens. Send breath into that right hip. Walk your hands up. Sweep your right leg back, down dog splits. Inhale, bring your knee to your nose, your shoulders over wrists. Exhale, press back. Inhale, knee to right elbow, shoulders over wrist. Exhale, press back. Inhale, knee to left elbow, and keep your hips lifted. Mandy loves this pose. She hates this pose. Exhale, back, down dog splits. Bend your knee and stack your hips. You're stacking your right hip on top of your left. Try not to let your left shoulder drop. Keep your left shoulder lifted. On your next inhale, step your right foot through to a lunge. Inhale, reach up overhead, crescent. Back tippy toes. Keep your back leg strong. Open up warrior two, spin your back heel to the ground. Breathe. Interlace your fingers at your lower back, roll your shoulders, lift your heart. Exhale, fold forward. This overhead. Soften your neck. Release, touch your mat, step back, inhaling to plank. Exhale, lower, either chaturanga or all the way down. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Find your breath. Remember, every time your mind starts to wander, come back to your breath. I'm gonna switch around so I don't have to, so I'm not facing you're not facing the back of me, but you stay where you are. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, step it through. Spin your back heel to the ground, front heel to middle of back arch alignment here. Warrior two, arms to a T. Breathe. Soften your shoulders away from your ears, right? We want to do this. Let them go. Now interlace your fingers at your lower back. Roll your shoulders back, lift your heart. Exhale, hinge forward, devotional warrior. Breathe. Fist overhead. This is actually an inversion here with your heart, your head below your heart. Release your hands to touch your mat. Back heel lifts. Sweep your left leg back, down dog splits. Inhale, knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. Exhale back. Inhale, knee to left elbow. Exhale back. Inhale, knee to right elbow. Keep your hips lifted here. They want to drop, keep them lifted. Exhale back. Now bend your left knee, stack your hips. This time your right shoulder wants to drop. Don't let it. Keep your right shoulder lifted. Inhale, step your left foot through between your hands to a lunge. Reach up overhead. Open up, warrior two. Interlace your hands at your lower back, roll your shoulders back, root your knuckles down. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, devotional warrior. Fist overhead. Release your hands. Inhale to high plank. Move through a vinyasa of your choice here. We'll meet in downward dog. Remember, you can always come to your child's pose. Everybody walk your hands back to your feet. Heel toe your feet together. And Eleanor, you can keep your feet wide here. Sit your hips low. Inhale, reach up. See if you can lift and spread all 10 toes. Sit your hips lower. Try not to reach forward with your hands, but up with your hands, up with your heart. Inhale, stand straight up. Exhale, hands to heart. Close your eyes for a minute. Come back to your intention. Come back to your breath. Press your intention between your palms. Release your hands. I'm going to face you. We're going to do a couple standing poses. I'm having some ankle and foot issues, so we're going to see, and it might be that I end up talking you through it. So we're going to start with eagle pose. So you're going to root down into your left foot. That's going to be your standing leg, very strong. You're going to cross your right leg over your left. Now, you might stop here. This is a good modification, is to plant those right toes. Or if you can get your toes wrapped around your calf, you're going to do that. So your right leg is on top. Your right arm is on bottom. Okay? Breathe and soften your gaze at something low out on the floor in front of you. Something that's not moving. If you look at something that's moving, you're going to start to move too. Start to fold to touch your elbows to your knees maybe, or just in that general direction. Gaze is soft, come back up. Unwind, reach up, get tall. We're going to do the other side. Release your arms and shake it out. Start to root down into your right leg this time. Muscles hug around bone. And this is how your body protects itself too from an injury. So if you're doing a really big stretch, you always want to, I'll talk about it later, but you always want to keep your muscles engaged. They kind of wrap around that bone. The muscle energy is going to protect your joints. So rooting down into your right leg, lift your left, and do whatever you did on the other side. Now you might notice a difference on this side. Left leg is on top, left arm is underneath. Maybe your palms come together. Maybe they don't. That's okay. Lift your elbows and start to fold. Maybe touching elbows to knees. And come back to standing. Gaze is soft and low. Unwind arms and legs. Inhale, reach up and release. Shake it out. Come back to standing at the top of your mat. I'm going to go through a little bit of a flow here. Root down into your feet. Feet are hip distance apart and parallel to each other. Eleanor, feet are wider so that as you fold, you've got room between your legs for your belly. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look up halfway, long spine, hips to eye lattice. Exhale, chaturanga, or all the way down to your belly. You can step, walk, hop, float, however you get there. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Roll your shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, your right leg high, down dog split. Exhale, step it through to a lunge. Lower to your back knee. You can keep your back toes curled or you can release your foot onto your mat. Inhale, reach up overhead. Lift your heart, but soften your shoulders. Your legs are engaged, but your eyes are soft. Your jaw is soft. Your heart is lifted. Start to curl into your upper back. Now, when you have your back knee on the ground, it's okay to come into a more acute angle than 90 degrees in your front knee. When your back knee is lifted, you don't want to go past 90 degrees with your front leg. Your heart lifted. Exhale, touch your mat. Now curl your toes under if they're not already. Lift your back knee. Spin your back heel to the ground, warrior two. Everybody, right forearm to thigh, left arm overhead. If you can go further, you can bring your right fingertips to the ground on the outside of your front foot. Eleanor, I want you to stay here with your forearm on your thigh. Now, if you want to go a little further, we're going to come into a bind. This is a really good shoulder opener. And if you can't clasp your hands, just grab onto your clothes here. You're going to bring your right shoulder in front of your right knee. Reach under your leg with your right hand and behind your back with your left. Okay? Clasp hands or clothes or a towel or a belt or something and start to root and pull your knuckles. Start to shift your gaze upward, starting to peel yourself up off your front thigh. Now look down at your right toe, start to hop your back foot in. Okay? You might stop here. This might be enough for you. And if this is enough for you, breathe, right? Stay with your breath as much as you can. If you want to go a little further, I'm going to try to turn toward you. If you want to go a little further, gaze is soft and low on the floor in front of you. You're going to come to standing on your left leg. Keep that right foot engaged and maybe extend your right leg. It's a good shoulder opener. Start to release. Come back into your forward fold. Step your left leg back. We're going to reverse out of it. Everybody come back to warrior two. Now straighten your front leg, thank goodness. Triangle pose. Reach your right arm down, your left arm up toward the sky. Now your right hand can be on your thigh. It can be on your shin. It can be on the block if you have one or the floor, but do not put it onto your knee joint. As you scoop your right tailbone underneath, you notice how much your heart opens toward the sky. Inhale, come back up, arms to a T, point all of your toes forward. So you're almost pigeon-toed here. Hands to hips. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, fold forward. Bring your hands down if you can. Wide-legged forward fold or Prasarita Padottanasana here. If you have a solid headstand practice, meaning you've done this multiple times before, and you want to come into a headstand from here, it's a good time for that. Keep the tops of your thighs pressing away from your belly. If you're in a headstand, go ahead and come down. Everybody hands to hips. Hug your shoulder blades together on your back. Inhale, come to standing. Stay, keep your legs here. Reach your arms out to a T. From here, interlace your hands behind your back. Roll your shoulders back. Inhale, lift your heart. And exhale, forward fold. Bring your fist overhead. Good shoulder opener here. Inhale, come back up. Release your hands to a T. Now, Eleanor, I don't know where you are in your pregnancy yet, but that relaxin hormone is going to start to set in, and you're going to get a lot more flexible soon. So just be careful and be mindful of your stretching, because you're going to get like really loose, and you don't want to hurt yourself. Take your peace fingers, your index finger, your middle finger, and you're going to reach for your big toes. Now, if you can't quite get that, that's fine. Just do one of the other variations we've already done. And start to pull yourself, elbows bend to the sides, pull yourself forward. Bring your hands to your hips. Hug your shoulder blades together on your back. Inhale, come to standing. Good, everybody. And step to the top of your mat, hands to heart. Close your eyes, find your breath. And remind yourself of your intention, right? Why you're practicing today. My intention, if I had set one, maybe it would have been like my sanity, trying to find that again. It's okay. We're all losing it a little bit. Are we all losing it a little bit? Is it just me? Is anybody else losing it a little bit? We're going to be fine. We're doing this together. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. It's okay. We're all fine. Okay, from here, release your hands. Flip your palms forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look up halfway, long spine. We're going to meet in downward dog. So you can go straight to dog, or you can move through a vinyasa of your choice. It's up to you. Breathe. Inhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. Reach up overhead, crescent lunge. Open up, warrior two. Good, try to see if you can get your quad and your hamstring on your front leg parallel to the ground. That's hard. And we're gonna start to come into a half moon pose. So start to inch your back foot forward. Reach your right fingertips down in front of your right toes. Your back leg lifts just to hip height. It's tempting to want to lift higher. Keep it to hip height. And maybe in your peripheral vision a little bit. You can always bring your left hand to your hip or touch your toes here, okay, for modification. If you have a block or something to put underneath your right hand, that can help with balance. Breathe, everybody. Keep your left leg lifted. Touch your mat with both hands, standing split. See how high you can get your left leg. Press your heart toward that right shin. Exhale, step your left foot back, lower to your back knee. Inhale, reach up overhead, low lunge. Breathe, sink into that front knee, so you should feel a good stretch in the front of your left hip flexor here. Hands to heart. Now we're gonna do a twist. Eleanor, I'm gonna give you a modification, so hang tight, Eleanor. Don't do this just yet. Everybody else who's not pregnant, bring your hands to your heart. Bring your left elbow across your front knee. So you're bringing your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Stack your elbows and press down with your hands to lift your heart. Shift your gaze up over that right shoulder if it's available. Eleanor, you're gonna open your twist, okay? Eleanor, you're like this. Yeah, good. And touch your mat. We're gonna meet in downward dog, or so you can go straight there or move through a vinyasa of your choice. Inhale, step your left foot forward between your hands. I'm gonna switch around. Spin your back heel to the ground, warrior two. Straighten your front knee for triangle pose. Remember, your left hand can go on the floor, a block, your shin, your thigh, just not your knee joint. We're going to start to move into Ardha Chandrasana or half moon pose. So bring your right hand to your hip. Right hand to hip. Start to walk your back foot in a little bit. Move your left fingertips in front of your left toes. A block can be helpful, but I know not everybody has a block at their house. Start to lift your right foot to hip height. And toes in your peripheral vision. Okay, that's going to engage your core a little bit more. Lift your right hand if that's available. You can stop wherever your body's telling you to stop. Hips are stacked. I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm wobbling, so I keep wobbling. That's a lesson in look at something that's not moving. Shoulders are stacked right on top of left. Hips are stacked right on top of left. Breathe. Soften your gaze and your jaw. I know one of those, if not both, we're a little crunched right now. Touch your mat with both hands, but keep your right leg lifting, standing splits. Exhale, step back into a lunge. Lower to your back knee. Inhale, reach your arms up. Sink and step, front knee. Lift your heart, soften your shoulders away from your ears. Soften your gaze. Hands to heart, let's twist. Eleanor, you're opening yours. Everybody else, right elbow to outer left knee. Hands to heart now. Your shoulders are stacked. Good. Press your hands down to lift your heart up toward your thumb. Shift your gaze up over that left shoulder. And release. Touch your mat. Move through a vinyasa or go directly back to downward dog or child's pose is always an option. Breathe. Inhale, come through to a plank. And lower as slowly as you can. See if you can let your heart touch first. Eleanor, you're going to come to your knees. And Eleanor, you're just going to sit straight up. Okay, so Eleanor, you're on your knees. Everybody else, you're coming onto your belly. Good. Bring the tops of your feet down. Eleanor, I'm going to show you first. Hands to your lower back. Roll your shoulders back. And just a little baby back bend here. Thinking of hugging your baby in. So you're going to stay here and only go to what's comfortable. If this hurts your lower back, then back out of it. You can always sit your hips back to your heels if that feels better. Now everybody else, onto your belly. We're going to come to a couple rounds of cobra. Inhale, lift up through head and chest. Keep your pedicure glued down to your mat. Pull your heart forward between your hands. It's like you're clawing your mat with your finger pads. Spread your fingers wide. There you go. Good. And exhale, lower. From here, keep your pedicure glued down to your mat, all 10 toes, and do Spider-Man hands, okay? So your elbows are bent toward the ceiling. I'm really used to my fingertips, so if your hands don't have the strength just yet, come onto your knuckle pads, but you'll notice a difference. Let's do a little experiment for a second. Come onto your flat palms, and notice what happens to your side bodies, your side waist, and like the energy of the pose. Kind of goes downward and gets a little bit dull, right? Come on to either your knuckle pads or your fingertips. It just brightens it up a little bit, right? Energetically and physically lifts it. So keeping your fingertips wide, thank you for humoring me in that little experiment. Inhale, lift up. And then soften your heart. Elbows are soft. Draw your heart through your hands and look to the right. Keep your left shoulder drawing down. Come to center. And look to the left. Keep your right shoulder drawing down. Keep your pedicure glued down. Exhale, lower. Interlace your fingers at your lower back. Inhale, lift up through head and chest. Keep your pedicure down. Root your knuckles towards your heels. Now, try not to look up, right? But you don't want to tuck your chin. You don't want to flatten that curve, right? That's one of the two curves we don't want to flatten. Lift your chin just a little bit. So your gaze is soft. You've got a slight curve in the back of your neck. And release, everybody. Good. Bring your right ear to the mat. Take a few breaths here. We're going to do it again, just in a different variation. This time, interlace your fingers at your lower back. And Eleanor, you can do another where you're on your knees or hips back to heels and rolling your shoulder, lifting your heart like that. Everybody else, fingers interlaced at your lower back. This time, start to walk your feet together so they're almost touching. Squeeze your legs together. Now lift your heart, lift your knuckles, lift your feet. Squeeze, 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 like you're trying to squeeze a block between your feet. Now soften your neck. I know it's crunching back. Yeah, there we go. Soften your neck and breathe. And release. Bring your left ear to the mat. Breathe into your back body here. Plant your hands underneath your shoulders. Come onto your knees, everybody. I'm going to turn back around again. And yeah, come onto your knees like this. Hands to hips. Extend your right leg out. So you're on your right heel. Really spread your toes. And you'll notice how that fires up the muscles around your bones. Press out through the big toe mound on your right foot. It's like you're stepping on the gas a little bit. Okay, that's going to engage your leg. Now start to walk your hands down. Okay, this might be enough for you. If you want, you can bring your hands down to the floor. And if you feel comfortable, you can start to inch that heel forward. Now, Eleanor, you can do this, but just be careful and mindful because you're going to start getting really super flexible if you're not already. And just go as far down as your body's going to let you, comfortably. Or just, what I like to say is that we meet our edge, we don't cross it, right? So you might meet your edge if you choose to today. And today you might be like, no thanks, not a day that I want to do that. That's okay too. We never cross our edge, but we often meet it. Start to draw that foot back. We're going to switch sides. Come back up, hands to hips, left leg out. This might be enough for you, and you'll notice a difference between how open one side is versus another. Keep that left hip drop down, right? It wants to lift up sometimes. I'm exaggerating, but drop it down. Start to walk your hands down if that's available. And start to inch that heel forward to whenever your leg tells you to stop, then stop, right? Listen to your body here. Breathe. Start to draw that left heel back. We're going to come back into downward facing dog. Eleanor, you can even have your feet wide in down dog if that's more comfortable. Inhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. Spin your back heel to the ground, warrior two. Interlace your fingers at your lower back. Inhale, lift your heart, shoulders back, look up. Exhale, hinge forward, devotional warrior, fists overhead. Inhale, lift your heart back up, arms to a T, warrior two, straighten your front knee for triangle pose. Now, a little bit differently here, instead of your left arm reaching up, reach it towards so it's parallel to the ground over your ear. Stack your shoulders, look up if it's available. And if you want to go a little further here, we can come into the bind that we did before in triangle pose. So your right shoulder, the outer right shoulder goes in front of your inner right knee, and then you can start to straighten your leg. Just options here, okay? Everybody back up to warrior two. Straighten your front knee. Point all of your toes forward. Now do hands to hips, heels in, toes out. Heels in, toes out, sit low. This is called horse stance. You can leave your hands to your hips, or you can bring your hands out like this to like cactus arms with your palms open and sit low. Sit low. See if you can smooth out the edges of your breath, right? Smooth out the wrinkles and the ridges in your breath. Sit lower. Breathe. Close your eyes if that helps. Hands to heart, sit lower. Breathe. You can come back to your intention here if that helps, if it gives you some motivation. Inhale, stand up. Good. Step to the front of your mat. Shake it out. Release your hands, flip your palms forward. Inhale, reach up overhead. Move through a vinyasa. We'll meet in downward dog. Inhale, step your left foot forward between your hands. Spin your back heel to the ground, warrior two. We're gonna switch it around. Interlace your fingers at your lower back, roll your shoulders back, lift your heart. Exhale, hinge forward, devotional warrior. Lift up, warrior two. Straighten your front knee for triangle pose. And reach your right fingertips so your arm is parallel to the ground here. Now, if you want to come into the bind like we did on the other side, that's always an option. Release your bind if you have it. Everybody come on up. Now, hands to hips, point your toes forward. Now, bring your heels in, toes out. It's like a very wide second position. Sit low, bend your knees. Cactus arms to start. Now, use your arms as like leverage. So you're drawing your shoulders back, shoulder blades squeezed together like you're trying to squeeze a pencil between them on your back. But then fold your ribs in. So don't let your ribs jut out. This is really common for women to do this banana back thing. I'm exaggerating here. Ribs knit in together, but shoulder blades continue to draw together on your back at the same time. Hands to heart and sit lower. If it helps, you can kind of sway back and forth if movement helps you. Breathe and just recognize what helps right now, because this is hard. Sit lower. This is hard, right? And we're all going through something that maybe is even harder than this pose right now. And it's important to recognize what helps, right? So what's helping you in this pose, get through this pose, right? We know it's going to be over at some point. You don't know when. Recognize what helps. What helps you is going to be different than what helps me or somebody else. Inhale, stand straight up. Exhale, step to the top of your mat. Close your eyes. Come back to your intention. Remind yourself of why you're practicing. Release your hands. Go ahead and come to a seat on your mat. If you want to sit on a towel or a couch cushion or something, this is a good time to do that. We're going to do Baddha Konasana. So if you ever did gymnastics, this was called butterfly pose. If you notice that your knees are really high up, it's really helpful to sit on something like a firm couch cushion or a folded blanket or a towel or a block or a meditation cushion if you happen to have those things at your house. If you don't, I can lend you mine. But if you notice your knees are like this, that usually means your hips are pretty tight, and sitting on something will help. So root to rise, grounding into your sitting bones, rising up through the crown of your head simultaneously. Start to hinge forward at your hip creases, right? As opposed to rounding, lead with your heart, hinge forward. I like to press my knees down with my elbows. If that doesn't feel good for you, don't worry about it. If it feels better just to bend them straight back, that's okay too. And something that I talked about on the Cultural Arts Facebook group page when this started a month ago, which is hard to believe. I like to distract people when we're in poses sometimes by telling stories. So my grandfather used to say this. It was like, put your lipstick on. Like if something, and it, not in like a chauvinistic kind of a way, but it was like if something was wrong, it's like, what's one thing you can do to get through it, to change your perception of the hard thing? Because you can't change the hard thing, right? And for us right now, still, we're getting dressed, and that's hard. You know, sometimes it feels like I'm changing out of my nighttime jammies and putting on my daytime jammies, but we're getting dressed. And I put mascara on this morning. Like, I'm just seeing you guys. But somehow that makes me feel like I can take on the day a little bit, right? It changes my outcome. And it was always, put your lipstick on. And what's the next step? Make your bed or not. What's the next step? Make some breakfast. And sometimes these days we're just looking for the next thing that we can do, right? And we're not looking too far ahead maybe. And right now it's Passover, right? So it's like, what do we need to do? Okay, make the salt water. You know, what's the next step? Make the harosa. What's the next step? You know, what's the next step? Set the table. What's the next step? So we're just taking it day by day and step by step, and that's kind of how we're getting through this, I think. I don't know if any of you can relate to that, but my 2 cents. Inhale, sit up. Extend your legs out in front of you. Eleanor, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your feet wide because we're gonna come into a forward fold, and this is gonna make room for your belly. Everybody else, feet are together. Spread your toes. Press out through your big toe mounds. That fires up the muscles around your bones. Start to walk your hands forward. You can grab onto your thighs, your shins, your outer feet, if that's available. Wherever you are, hinge at your hip creases, lead with your heart, and notice if you're crunching the back of your neck. That's really common in this pose. Don't flatten that curve, right? Keep that curve there, but lead with your heart and soften. Breathe. Inhale, come up. We're gonna do another version of this. If that was as far as you could go in the last one, then do what you just did again. If you wanna go a little further, take your peace fingers around your big toes and start to draw your heart forward. Breathe. Hopefully everybody's been getting some sunshine. That's really been helping us. It's really been helping my kids. It's really been helping me. Inhale, come up. Now, if that was as far as you can go, then do whatever you just did. We're gonna go a little further if you can, okay? So the next step, if you can go there, is this kind of a grasp, hand around wrist, around your feet, okay? So here, and I have to like inch my feet together a little bit more. Let me scooch back so you can see. Okay, here, and fold. Inhale, come back up. And you're going to bend your right knee. Eleanor, you're gonna come into this, same with your legs, but you're gonna open the twist. Okay, so Eleanor, you're turning towards your left leg, away from your bent knee. You can do whatever with this back arm. I don't know why I did that. That seems like a silly thing, like a circus pose or something. I don't know why I did that. You can do a circus pose if you want. But Eleanor, here, this is what you're gonna do. Can you imagine what it's like to be in a real yoga class with me, like in the studio? It's ridiculous. Okay, right fingertips behind you, everybody else. Everybody else who is not pregnant, right fingertips behind you, left elbow to outer right knee. And twist, root to rise. So lengthen your spine. And if it's comfortable on your neck, start to shift your gaze over your right shoulder. If that doesn't feel good, then don't do it. You never want to mess with the neck. And and release. We're gonna switch legs, everybody. Eleanor, you're still turning away from your bent knee. Everybody else, you're turning towards your bent knee. Left fingertips behind you, right elbow to outer left knee. And if you can't quite get, if this is too much, you can grab around with your arm like this, okay? But if you can go further, you can bring your knee, your elbow to the outer knee. Root to rise, shift your gaze if it's comfortable. This is, I explained this once before, so these twists in yoga, we think of them like a washcloth. And if you imagine a washcloth and you're running it under the sink and you're getting it sopping wet with water, and you lift it out and it's just dripping, right? It has too much. And then you wring it out and you get rid of all the excess water, but it's still damp, right? It's still left with what you need. And twists kind of do the same thing for our bodies. The thought is that they rinse out and wring out all the excess that we're holding on to, that we don't need, and they leave us with only what we do. Unwind, come back to center. And come onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Eleanor, you're gonna take your knees wide. You can rock and roll side to side. You can rock front to back. Eleanor, Eleanor, can you still lay on your back? You can? Okay, lay on your back. You're gonna not be able to anymore. Your body will tell you when to stop doing that. Okay. You won't be able to breathe after a while when you do that. You'll know when it's time to stop. All right, so you're rocking and rolling, just giving yourself a back massage here because it's the only kind of massage we can get these days. Gotta take what we can get, right? And plant your feet on the mat. Eleanor, your feet are wide, knees are bent. We're gonna come into a bridge pose. Inhale, lift your hips. Everybody look straight up toward the ceiling. Don't turn your head side to side. And you can interlace your fingers under your lower back, roll your shoulders underneath, lift your hips, and breathe. Keep the back of your head pressing down, maintaining the curve in your neck. So think of lifting your heart toward your chin instead of your chin toward your heart. Release down and start to windshield wipe your knees from side to side. We'll do another bridge pose in just a moment. And if there's another arm variation that you prefer, do whatever arms you like for this pose. Everybody plant your feet just as they were before. Inhale, lift your hips. I'm doing the robot arm variation here if you want to see something different. Palms are facing in toward one another. And I'm pressing through the backs of my triceps to lift my heart. Lift your right hip a little higher than your left. Bring your left hip to meet it, because I knew you could go a little higher. Release down, windshield wipe your knees from side to side. Try to avoid hugging your knees into your chest here. Now you can do a third bridge pose, or you can come into full wheel. I'm going to talk you through full wheel. But if you want to do another bridge, go ahead and do that. So same feet. You're coming into a full wheel. Plant your hands by your shoulders, fingertips pointed, hands by your ears, fingertips pointed toward your shoulders. Inhale, lift your hips. Come onto the crown of your head and pause. Plug your shoulder blades onto your back and then straighten your arm. Now a goal, there's a few things happening in a full wheel. Try not to turn into a ballerina, right? Just be mindful of your feet staying parallel. And you start to want to get your forearms perpendicular to the ground. Everybody lower down from wherever you are and windshield wipe your knees. From here, extend your right leg down onto your mat, hug your left knee in. Make circles in both directions with your left knee. Get some good movement throughout that hip. And draw your left knee across your body for a twist. Shift your gaze toward the left. Eleanor, don't do that. Just start Eleanor instead. I want you to pull your left knee toward your left armpit. Come back to center, hug your knee into your chest, everybody, and release. Extend your left leg long, hug your right knee in, and make circles in both directions with your right knee. Eleanor, you're gonna hug your right knee up towards your right armpit. Everybody else, take your right knee across your body for a twist. Open up your right palm toward the sky. Shift your gaze toward the right if that's available. Breathe, everybody. Come back to center, hug your knee into your chest. And we're gonna do, I like to end class with a symmetrical pose. So let's do a Supta Baddha Konasana before Shavasana. Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of your feet together, knees apart. Your palms can be face up on either side of you. So there's a couple hand options here. And the thought is that with your palms face up, this is kind of a gesture toward receiving the benefits of your practice. So if you feel like you need some energy right now, flip your palms up. Now, if you feel like you want to let go of some energy right now, bring your palms face down on your hips. Either one. Now, Eleanor, as this starts to get uncomfortable for you, laying flat on your back, you're going to start to prop yourself up with pillows so you're not flat, so you're at an angle. And begin to straighten your legs down onto your mat one at a time for Shavasana. Now, if this hurts your lower back to lay flat, plant your feet with your knees bent. Okay? And this is just as important of a pose as any of the others that we've done, so try not to skip it. Start to soften the corners of your eyes, the sides of your mouth, and your jaw. Let your tongue be heavy. And just start to let your skin drape over your bones like a bed sheet over a statue. Start to deepen your breath. Gently begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And roll over onto your side, either one. Eleanor, roll to your left side. And begin to press yourself up to a seated position. Keep your eyes closed if you can. Hold your hands together at the center of your heart. And bring your intention back to the front of your mind. Press that intention between your palms, giving it a little power here and sealing it into your practice. This pose that we're in with our hands at heart center is called Anjali Mudra. And a mudra is the Sanskrit word for a seal. So we start our practice and we end our practice with this seal, just sealing everything in. To your breath, to your intention, you can bow to your heart. Thank you so much for coming to class today. Namaste. Thank you, everybody.